Welcome to Rauta and another preview of Steelfest 2024. Another because I was already mentioning the lineup partially, and now it's time to talk about the new announcements which I already have here on my phone. And that being said, I'm doing this before the actual launch date, the day when these new bands are to be announced. So I'm here talking from the past to you at this very moment about these new announcements. So to some of you, they're news. To some of you, you already know it because you're keen fans, as everybody should be. Now let's tune for the Steelfest 2024 site. And this is exactly what you see on the site right now when I'm doing this a couple of days before the actual announcement. Now, you of course get to see the dates, that is from 16th to 18th of May 2024, and the place, Hyvinkää, Finland, as always. And already, so far, before the new announcements, the lineup actually looks pretty stoked. We have Gorgoroth from Norway, which is always performing nicely. Seen them a few times, of course, and they do have their solid, classic Norwegian black metal stuff. Nocturnal Mortem once again, thumbs up if it's going to happen. Inquisition doing comeback with their unique USBM style. Overmod from Sweden for the first time in Finland, doing their rather grim and occultic and, well, lots of topics to talk about, but black metal nonetheless, a classic band. And Horna doing their special show with 3 different vocalists, 3 different eras and all that stuff. It's gonna be pretty goddamn interesting. And then we have a lot of other bands here which are also interesting. But since these are already done and taken care of in the previous episode, let's focus on the new bands. And now hold your pants and wherever you're sitting tight, because these bands, these announcements are pretty goddamn sweet if you ask me. Expect quite a bit of death metal, and black metal, and some other names. Not too much outside the box, but still. So the first and one of the biggest ones I'm going to mention is Blasphemy from Canada. Now these guys are not for the first or second time in Finland, but yeah, this time they are going to play a show at Steelfest, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, Blasphemy is one of those originators of black death metal genre, an inspiring name for a lot of bands out there. Of course, you've seen, possibly, at least anyway, Blasphemy people at Steelfest or other fests before that, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see them play live. Rauta is also doing a comeback, which is, I guess, going to be very interesting for those who are more into the kind of Slavic take of pagan black metal. And it's going to be interesting how they are going to perform. Personally, on my watch list, however, is a band that got cancelled, or 2 bands for this particular matter, are Dead Heimskard and Vedbud from Norway, doing Steelfest 2024. As you might know, they were supposed to play at Steelfest 2023, but then some tragic events took place and those 2 bands got cancelled because of one person in both bands, and well, the rest is history. But yeah, now they are coming back. Well, not technically coming back, but coming. And personally very stoked because I had already agreed to do interviews and all that stuff, and for 2 reasons. Not only dismiss the gigs, but the cancelled interviews, that was a kind of a big hit. But shit happens sometimes, and there are worse things than cancelled gigs and interviews. Swedish black metal band Kraft, which is one of my personal favorites from Sweden, is also doing their Steelfest debut. At least I don't remember seeing them at any other places in Finland except for this one gig about 4 years ago when they performed in Tampere. That gig seemed to divide people into 2, some who really liked the band and some thought it was disappointing. Unfortunately, they were not ready for a video interview back then. Let's give another try this time because they were ready for a written one, which I don't do anymore, but anyway, let's see how it goes this time. Then Denial of God from Denmark doing a comeback. Some people might remember that I already interviewed the person in the band, and yeah, that is something very, very solid from Denmark, originators of Danish black metal in so many ways. Ragnarok from Norway, another classic band from the Norwegian 90s era, is doing a comeback at Steelfest. These guys performed before actually I started Rauta. This was like the 1 year before that, and I got to interview them back in the days for what is known as predecessor of Rauta. So it's gonna be interesting to see them again. I remember them playing a rather good show, and the person, the bass player, I think he was, we did interview, was a super nice person, smacking some insects out of my forehead and shit. Yeah, called the moments. What else? When was it I mentioned Baratrum doing a solid show once again, I guess. They performed well at Steel Chaos, I was told. Me, I was doing an interview during the show, so unfortunately didn't see them, but I was told it's one of the best ones from Baratrum from recent years. Eternus from Norway, who are also doing a new album, very soon getting out. They are doing a show in Finland once again. And this is going to be interesting. They played a solid show in Bergen where I witnessed them at Beyond the Gates, so it's going to be interesting how they do on Finnish soil. I think it's a very, very welcoming addition, because a lot of classic black metal bands and some death metal names, but their style is very unique with the kind of dark and almost like doomed approach to it. So it's going to be interesting. Then Aegrus, a Finnish black metal one, which is always been about very, very solid quality and good albums all the way through. And it's going to be interesting to see them live. Personally, very, very interesting in my opinion. And Vulture, a band was supposed to do but got cancelled. That was actually Vulturium, that is. That they got replaced. I have the information here someplace. Misere Luminis, I think, was the replacement band. This Wolf text, yes, Misere Luminis. Sorry for this browsing thing, but I mean, the things are, all the information is a little bit scattered here and there. Then we have Marras doing their debut gig. Marras is a kind of a superstar, black metal superstar side project from Finland, which you should probably have been listening to. It's a good one, and it's going to be interesting how these guys perform. They're all veterans of their genre, and their music is kind of timeless, very, very second wave inspired black metal. Definitely something you to see. And then more interesting death metal names. Corpsest and Cadaveric Incubator from Finland, both playing kind of a old school death metal ways. Corpsest more on the brutal side of things, very dark and all that stuff, super heavy. Cadaveric Incubator more maybe boneheaded death metal in a way, but like I said, both are very traditional in their death metal. And now I'm gonna drop one of the bigger bombs in my opinion anyway. Vader from Poland. Those real veterans of Polish death metal are coming to Steelfest. It's been very, very many years since the last time I got to see Vader live, and I just remember them being really, really good. And what's more interesting is that during the later years, some of their albums have been among the best in their discography. So unlike a lot of bands which have been in the game for, say, 30 plus years, these guys show no signs of, slowing down and becoming boring old man's band, but quite the contrary. So personally, Vader is going to be one of the better ones, in my opinion, on the whole list here. So all in all, quite amount of bands we get to see. I think I have the full announcement list, but then again, you can just add whatever I said to the list, what you can see here, which was already mentioned. So we have interesting lineup where Nocturnal Mortem, Corkord, Inquisition, and Blasphemy are basically the headlining ones. Then Groda Dead, Heimskard Horna, Misturving, and Kraft as the second tier. And then of plenty of other bands. But like I said, for example, Vader is not listed among the big ones here. But anyway, White Death, Orpheus, Tsar Christa, Eternus, Vader, etc., etc., etc. So a lot of interesting bands like... I'm getting already like sweaty even thinking about it. Like one of the interesting band is Dead Chain, also doing kind of a comeback. I had a talk with the one of the main guys of the band at Steel Chaos about it, and he seemed really stoked, and I'm personally stoked to see them for the first time I think ever. I don't remember seeing Death Chain anyway. And I mean, they have been gone for so many years, so even though I had seen possibly, slight possibility that I was drunk and forgotten. Anyway, my point here is, it's time to do that finally again. That was a great band back in the day, so I'm expecting nothing more than even more greatness. I mean, the guys might be older, but also experienced. So there's that. So what do we know about Steelfest 2024? That it's gonna be a very heavy, very dark lineup, very versatile. I mean, there's lots of variation with the bands. Different styles of black metal, different styles of death metal. So it's not like you're having a kind of copy-pasting. Some bands are here doing a comeback, like doing their second or third or whatever show, but also some names that are performing, you know, maybe the first time in Finland ever, or at least at Steelfest for the first time. So it's going to be really, really interesting in my opinion. And now my only worry is how I'm going to see all the bands, how I'm going to do all the interviews. I mean, I probably need something like 36 hours a day to figure it out. But that's the beauty of it. Once you have such a great lineup, you can even skip some of the more known ones, the ones that you get to see more often and all that stuff. No, I think it's going to be challenging to fit everything in your lineup. I mean, in order to eat, drink, sleep, go to toilets, have time with your friends, because that's kind of an essential part at Steelfest experience. But at least I am super excited about the lineup. I'm gonna kid you not. The inner kid in me is like, yay, let's fucking do it. So it's a few months away. Get your tickets ready, get your planes, hotels, whatever booked in case you haven't. Time is running, not out, but still, meaning the best hotels and best Airbnb spots or whatever are probably already taken. But it's not too late anyway, since it's so many months away. So probably those who are going to be very late booking whatever they are doing, flights or hotels, they're going to be suffering more than you who are already booking your tickets right now that more artists have been announced. And since this was like 15 more, and here it says over 20 artists to be announced, I think there will be some surprises left. I don't even get to like miss anything, but we shall see what it's going to be. And I think one more video at least previewing the whole festival will be done earlier 2024. And if I understood correctly, the final bands will be announced before the end of the year. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. Now, should you have questions about certain things like how to get to Hyvinkää, how to get to Steelfest and all that stuff, don't be shy. Ask me and I will answer you. And if I don't know the answer, I will poke you to the right direction. Links are to be listed in the description box, so you should be able to find the festival site and social media site through that, or just use your magical Googling skills and find it out for yourself. This is Rauta, this is Steelfest 2024. See you there in a few months. Bye bye.